Hello from Gardening at Dwensa here in Ireland, and I thought I'd brighten up this nasty dull January day by showing you the orchids I have in flower this month. Let's go and have a look at them. And isn't it apt that the camera has immediately alighted on the fantastic, vibrant, orange, warm colours of Coastal Sunrise, a brilliant contrast to the nasty wet day. And this is a cattleya of mine that I've had for numerous years and made several videos about. Coastal Sunrise is so reliable and so sturdy that I just can't help loving it to bits, really, and I hope that you can feel that from this video. Anyway, this was originally a monster and I made videos about it, calling it my monster. And then this orchid was divided last year. Also, I made a video about that. But since then, I further divided the plant in July 2016 and sent a division off to someone else. And this is how the plant has repaid me. So it finished flowering July 2016 and now it's flowering again in January. So it's almost a twice a year flower, which is excellent in my books. Look at the amazing colours in these flowers. It's orange and deep pink, and the flowers, they aren't tiny, they're big enough. And you get a whole cluster on each stem. Now the stems, as you can see, are really, really long, and it gets that from its Laeliocattleya parent. I think if I grew this orchid in a greenhouse where there was light all the way around, then the long spikes would go upwards towards the light. But I grow it in a house on a windowsill, so always the spikes will reach towards the light. And I end up with this bent effect. But it's the best I can do in a house, you know, and it's a small price to pay for having this reliable flower all the time. As you can see, I have a second spike coming here, and do you see how this bud is bent here? Well, that's because it was leaning against the actual window. I mean, this plant is so big that it reaches over and touches any window that it's been placed up against. And when the spikes are developing, they develop really quickly, so you can put it back a little bit, but by the time you check again in the evening, it's touching the window again, and that's what happened with this one. It kind of bent a bit, but I think it's okay, it'll be grand. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I'm not going to divide it anymore now. So I'm waiting for dormant eyes from the back of the plant to break out. This is where it was divided before. I mean, before I divided it last year, this plant flowered from all the way around, and now it's only flowering from one side over there. So I just need to give it a little time. But the really funny thing about this plant is that it fills a pot. And what I mean by that is that it seems to be whatever pot I put it in, it fills it, and you know, it needs more space. Now, when I divided it, the idea was to fit it in this, which is the biggest pot I'm prepared to support in a house. However, it immediately filled it. I divided it again last year, and we can see over here that the growths that are flowering, and these will definitely produce new growths after the flowers go, they'll come out over the edge of the pot again, so I'll need an even bigger pot. Now, what could I do? I could divide the plant again, but I've tried that, and it just seems to spread out no matter what I do, so I think I'm just going to look for a bigger pot. It'll have to go into a plastic pot because I won't get a clay pot that's bigger than this one. But so it goes. I took a back bulb division of this plant when I divided it in July, and that was a division of the very small original pseudobulbs that had come with the plant when I originally bought it, and they had no leaves at this stage. And you know, it's not an experiment I would normally do with another cattleya, but this one is so vigorous, I feel that I do stand a chance of it coming into leaf and awakening a dormant eye. And in fact, looking at that division just the other day, I see finally there seems to be some kind of dormant eye waking, and this is, it's January now, and I took the division in July, so fingers crossed. Below Coastal Sunrise we have a New Guinea Dendrobium, Lutin Blanc, And anyone who's been watching my orchids in flower videos over the last, I don't know, 5 months will have seen that this fantastic orchid keeps on featuring because it just keeps on flowering and flowering. Now it has fewer flower spikes at this stage, and some of them are going over, like that red one there, but it still makes a good display even after, well, wow, after flowering for months and months. So it's definitely to be recommended. And there have been a few new pseudobulbs developed since this has been in flower, like this one here with the brown sheath. And over here there's another one, and there's another one. So I hope that in time these two will push out flowering spikes and the plant will, well, I don't know, go on indefinitely. It's as good as a Phalaenopsis, I really must say, in terms of longevity of flowering. Moving along, we come to a plant from the Oncidium Alliance. And this one is Oncostele, I think, and it's called Stirbic Red, and it is just beautiful. Now we can see that there are 3 flowers there and 4 on the same spike facing away from us. And on the spike, the smaller spike down on the right, there are 3 flowers. I lost one at the top of that spike, but that's okay because there's enough here to make a really fantastic show. And this one is really, really beautiful. Now, the label that came with this orchid is this one here, and it just says Odontoglossum down below and Inca orchids up above. And when I bought it, it didn't have any name on the plant. It didn't say Stirbic, but this new, whoever they are, I don't know who these people are, but they seem to be importing to Ireland in any case, a range of very nice orchids, and without the names, like for example this other one up here, the Miltonia Peter Komp, came in with this type of label too. And yeah, so it's a good opportunity to look out for and get very nice orchids. I saw them for sale in Johnstown Garden Centre and Avoca Hand Weavers, and I'm sure they're available in other places. This beautifully scented Peter Komp is of course not my orchid, and I'll link you to the video up above where I actually bought this for someone else. So I'm kind of cheating here, putting it in here with the others, but well, you know, it's so gorgeous and so beautifully scented. Okay, so the next one we see looking to have its say over here in the corner. Here we have my Vanda Princess Mikasa Blue. By far the easiest Vanda I have and the easiest one to reflower. Now this also is almost twice a year flowering. I keep it in this glass vase which I top up with water once a week. Now it has done really well for me, and the only piece of advice I'll give about Vanda growing is to say that look out for the ones that used to be Ascocenda, because they really are quite a lot easier than those that were originally Vandas. Of course, now with the name change, they're all Vandas, but you can still find the Ascocenda ones with the old name. You know, I nearly forgot to mention this frag here at the back, the pink one. How could I forget this? This is a lovely, lovely plant. And this again has been flowering for a very long time. What we're actually looking at is the 3rd of the flowers to emerge from this spike. The other 2 have gone. In my last video, my December orchids in flower video, it was the 2nd flower that you saw there. And since then it's dropped and this one has emerged. And one of the things I really like about this Phragmipedium Ainsworthii is that when the flowers are done, they just drop. They don't wither and look horrible for a long time. They just drop, perfectly formed. Even you'd think with lots more life in them, but drop they do. And it just makes for a more handsome looking plant. And this one I really, really do love. And if you need any more information on any of these orchids that I'm featuring in this video, well, they're all on my channel. You know, I just can't link to everything on here, but you never know who might be looking in for the first time. So there you go. So leaving aside Phragmipedium Ainsworthii, our gaze falls on some twinkles here at the back. And this is the orange twinkle, which is in flower with a couple of spikes, maybe 3, which isn't an amazing number for a twinkle. Twinkles often have a lot more than that. I really like the colour of these flowers compared to the white twinkle. And beside it, another miniature one. This is the Howeara that I featured in a special video. And this is proving to be very, very long flowering as well. Aren't I lucky? And just to bear in mind that all of these orchids that are in flower, they sit in my kitchen, which is the warmest room in the house, because I put them there because I want to see them when they're in flower. And it's no good to me that they flower in some distant bedroom. They need to come where I can see them. And moving down from the Howeara, we see Paphiopedilum Pinocchio. Again, a wonderful sequential bloomer with 2 spikes this year. There he is in all his handsomeness. And I've kind of bolstered him up here through the shelving because I don't want to stake him. It would look ungainly. The stakes would be too disproportionate to the slender size of the stem. There's the plant, and here's the other spike. And unfortunately, we're just between flowers on this second spike. So the one that was there just recently has dropped. And there's more buds coming here. Just 2 more orchids to show you because I have 12 in flower this time in January. Don't ask me how many I had in flower already this month and missed on film. I think there were a few cattleyas, but it's hard to keep count. But the 11th that I have in flower at the moment is this one here. It's an Epidendrum ibaguense. No, it's an Epidendrum secundum. And there it is with its lovely pink flowers. Coming to the end of its flowering now. You see how it's flowered all the way up that spike. But it was good while it lasted. And the very last plant I want to show you today is my Ludisia that has finally decided to flower. And I know what it was. I know what made this plant flower because I had actually given up on it. And I'd said to my friend Taliga that she could have this plant. And it was only when I said that, then it burst into flower. But it's been through the wars, it's had a dose of aphids, it's been underwatered, and yeah, but still, it's in flower. And I think that's my friend Tina arriving now, so I'm going to have to wrap up this video. But if you want to see a beautifully flowered, magnificent Ludisia, then I'm going to refer you to a video by Alberto from his channel. And really, oh, you have to check this out. It's absolutely amazing. Really, not to be missed. That's the way to do it. Okay, so Tina's banging at the back door now. I better wrap up and not keep her waiting. Hope you liked this video on orchids in flower in January. 12 in total, I believe. And do check back for lots more orchid videos. That's all for now. Bye. Okay, it's me back again because I made a mistake. I left out 2 orchids when I was giving you this update. Only thought of them after my friend had left. And here they are over here. And you can see that the first one here is Cattleya bowringiana. And it has 2 flowers. Isn't that knobbly? But the good news is that there are no blemishes on this new growth because this plant had been in isolation. I had a lot of marks on the leaves and I even cut off a couple of pseudobulbs. But the new growth seems good and I couldn't believe it when it set up a sheath, and this is the result. But I'm somewhat disappointed because these are very nondescript, mediocre flowers. You've got 2 back on back here. So let's just have a look there. That's what they look like. Now, I think what normally happens with this plant is that there's kind of a cluster of lots of small blooms here. But for the size of the plant, that really is a poor showing. Now, the good news is that the plant seems to be healthy, although I think I already said I'm keeping it in isolation. I don't trust it somehow. But yeah, I'm very unimpressed with the flowers. Okay, well, it's not going out anyway. I'm going to keep it for a bit. And the other plant, I completely forgot to mention. How could I be so mean? Prosthechea cochleata. And this plant is only just in flower. If we look closely, you can see that there is 1 single flower left. There he is. And that spike has flowered all the way down. And various other spikes have have flowered. And this one is coming into sheath again. You see there's 1, 2, number 3 sheath over here, and the final one is over there. So very soon I'll have 4 spikes coming out of this plant again and a decent show. It has only just by the skin of its teeth got into what's in flower for January. Okay, that really is the end of my video. Thanks very much for watching, and do check back again soon. Bye!